Hey, what's up? This is 757 Custom Graphics. Welcome to this channel, and in this video I'm going to be doing a setup video for the Schulze PRETREATmaker 4. One of the main reasons why I'm doing this video is because I feel like in 2019 it's ridiculous for a company not to have some kind of visual setup instructions to go with a machine like this, especially because, you know, machines like this are number one, expensive, and number two, potentially hazardous. So I was kind of surprised that I didn't find any videos on setting this thing up when I searched YouTube. So I figured, you know, why not do it? It's not going to be a really complete setup video because we've already done some steps in the process. But we already set up the stand. My partner and I set up the stand for the Schulze PRETREATmaker 4 and have taken out all of the materials that came inside the drawer. So inside the drawer there was a bunch of materials. These are those materials here. It came with these things, I forgot what they're called. It came with this manual and a couple of other tools that I don't really recognize or understand what they do. It also came with this page that kind of sort of explains setup but doesn't go over maintenance. And I think a big part of maintenance, a big part of machines like this, really any pre-treatment machine, is the maintenance because of the solution that we're using to pre-treat. It's basically like glue from what I understand, and I don't know a whole lot about pre-treating, but from what I do know about direct-to-garment and pre-treating the shirts before you print on them, is that this is not a solution that you want to leave on any machine for any extended period of time. I was really surprised I didn't find a video, so I wanted to do this video from this point forward. When you get your machine, it comes in a nice big box that the machine is sitting on top of a pallet. You have to assemble the stand yourself. It came with this nice package, kind of explains like all the parts and then what you need to do to put together the stand. We bought ours from Mart, and I think that's why it came with the stand. I don't know if all of them do, but if yours does, you'll see a piece of paper like this, and the instructions for that are fairly basic. I wouldn't expect anyone to do a video on that, but for a machine like this that requires so much maintenance, I would think that I'd find a video, and I didn't, so I wanted to do that from this point forward. So with that being said, one of the first things it says on the instructions here is don't put the nozzle on in the machine. It also says to fill the containers with distilled water for step number 2. And then for step number 3, it says connect the deposit tank. Cut the hose to the desired length. Do not bend the hose. Do not make a loop. So I'm gonna do that now. This is the hose. As you can see, the actual tank, the what they call the deposit tank. So I'll have to unwrap this and put that together, and I'll probably end up cutting the hose and then take the distilled water we purchased and put that in the tanks on the side. So I'll go through that process now. I'm probably not gonna talk as much, so other people might find this useful as well. Alright, so I got it out of the packaging, but it actually goes here at the back of the machine and attaches there, so I won't be able to show too much of this process. So I ended up cutting the lines a bit to get this to reach here without slack. The next step is to fill all 3 containers with distilled water, so I'll be doing that now. I'm not sure if you could tell, but all of the containers that we had to fill up are actually still attached to the machine, and I was actually kind of afraid to pull them off. I did not want to undo something that I can't redo. So what I'll do is give you guys the zoom in, nice close up. But as you guys should be able to see, all 3 containers are filled. with distilled water. That third container, I actually ran out of distilled water before I could fill it up. I just left it as is. This is pretty much just to get the lines in the system filled with liquid, from what I understand. According to the instruction manual, what I'm gonna do now is turn the machine on, and liquid, I don't know if you guys can see that, liquid should come out of these nozzles. There's like 4 nozzles there. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. So I now have distilled water in all 3 of the containers. I put the cover back here on the right hand side of the machine, and I have my waste container plugged in at the back, and I'm now going to turn the Pretreat maker on for the first time. Okay, it has power. Now we're gonna flip the switch. It just says Pretreatmaker 4. I think that's a little bit difficult to see from here. Let's see if I can move it around. Shake the pre-cooling container thoroughly until the liquid is mixed. Remove the nozzles from the container with the water and install them in the machine. That's basically what it's going back and forth saying. In the instructions that I received, it actually said not to attach the nozzles yet, so I'll wait until we get to the next step. Yeah, so I'm just gonna go ahead and hit the next button on this one. Okay, so the next step is displayed here. Actually says, I'll press the water button, and it also says do the same for the pre-treat button. First, push the water button for 10 to 30 seconds and then repeat with the pre-coating button as well. The pipes have to be filled with water without air bubbles. So that's the next step I'm gonna try and do. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is hit the water button and look for the lines to be filled with liquid and no bubbles. Okay, water is just now coming into the lines. Okay, so I'm actually gonna change the camera this way, and hopefully you guys can see the water coming out as well. That was about 15 seconds. I'm gonna actually grab my stopwatch. Forgot to see if I can get 15 more seconds. Oh, I can also hear liquid or water, distilled water, running into our waste container in the back. Let me go check on that. Okay, so from what I understand, now the next step, let me double check. I'll be honest, I can't tell exactly which lines are for water and which lines are for pre-treatment, but what I will do is now switch over from the water button to the pre-coat button and do the same process. It seems like it kind of runs dry at first, and then as the pre-treatment fills the lines, then you're good to go. So I'll go ahead and do that now. Yeah, even now it's not clear which lines are for water and which lines are for pre-treatment, but one thing is clear, that there are no bubbles in the lines, full of liquid. So I think I've accomplished what I need to accomplish. So I'm gonna go ahead and find the nozzles and fit them to the machine. I found the nozzles, and they are labeled here, I don't know if you can see that, with TP8050. And according to the user manual, that means that these nozzles are configured for brother pre-treatment. I just thought that was something interesting to note. I don't know exactly what that means, but I'm just going by the user manual and what I have here that was delivered with the machine. So I'm going to take these and attach them here to the machine and run our water and pre-treatment test once again. As far as I can tell, it's a pretty simple design. Seems like it goes on there pretty easily. I think you just push it up and then twist to the right, if I'm not mistaken. So these are going on, but they're not really twisting all the way to the right. I mean, they feel really secure, like they're on there, but they're not twisting all the, like they're twisting slightly to the right, but not a whole lot. They should be doing a whole turn, like a 90-degree turn. This one's not turning at all, so let me rotate it some more. Yeah, they're doing way more of, it's more like a 45-degree turn as opposed to a 90-degree turn. And I'm not sure if that's how it's supposed to be, but I'll double check in the manual in just a second. Alright, that one's not turning at all. Yeah, so I'm literally just pushing it up onto the nozzle up onto, we'll just call it the black piece because I have no clue what this thing is called, but there's a black piece, 4 black pieces hanging down. I put the nozzle on top of it, push it up, and then turn it maybe about 45 degrees, and it seems to be locking in. Like I can't pull any of them down once they turn that 45 degrees. But like I said, it looks like you're supposed to push up and then turn it, and it locks at 90 degrees. Like, let's say the line is like this. From my understanding, I was supposed to turn it all the way like this. And in real life, it looks like 45 degrees, maybe even less, is all I'm able to turn before the nozzle actually locks into place. And before I close this, I wanted to mention this tool. There's another tool that came with the machine, and it looks like this. And at first, I couldn't figure out what this went to at all, but it goes to a piece right here in the middle that is a filter, some kind of carriage filter from what I understand. So I don't know exactly how that works or what that carriage filter does, but I believe this is the tool to remove the carriage filter. And according to the user manual, it needs to be removed and cleaned out or replaced at least once a month. I'll have to do some more research on that as well. I might do a check-in video after like a month of using this thing and let you guys know how it goes. But from what I understand, this is to remove the carriage filter. These are 3 filters that actually go inside of the containers, but I believe they're just extra filters. I have found no use for them yet as I'm assembling this. And I also forgot to mention this little machine that also came with the PRETREATmaker. This is where the nozzles go when you're not actually using the machine. I believe that when you're done pre-treating for the day, you should remove the nozzles and place them here so the nozzles don't get clogged up with glue and whatever solution we're using for pre-treatment. So I just wanted to mention that as well before I keep going. With that being said, I'm going to close it and take a look at how the spray happens now that I have the nozzles on. So it looks like the water is not coming straight down, but the spray is definitely not like a fine line. So I think I need to adjust the nozzle some more. I'll try and get them right and then come back and give you guys an update. Okay, so I got all of the nozzles working flawlessly except for this nozzle on the far left. And for whatever reason, after holding the water or the pre-coat button down for, more than, I'd say like 4 to 5 seconds, this stream goes from a nice even stream to kind of like crowding up on the right hand side. So it goes from like misting water to dripping water after 4 or 5 seconds. So I think, I don't know if it's just specifically, I'm not sure if it's this metal piece itself here on the end or if it's the yellow or maybe the black cap on the inside, the rubber on the inside. I'm not sure, but I'm going to try and swap this out for the replacement nozzle that came with it and see if that fixes the issue. And if it does, hopefully I can get a replacement one from the company. But I'm hoping that this will make my stream fine as opposed to drippy. Okay, so I've swapped out the nozzle on the far left, and I'm now going to run the water again and see how the mist comes out. Yeah, same deal. And it's super hard to see. I actually may be able to get a closer look. Let's see if that... Okay, so all I'm going to do is actually rotate it. Okay, so I've rotated it. Close it, run some more water and see if that helps. And again, it only happens, it's a very fine mist at first, and then it just becomes like this drippy mess. So there it is. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's happening with my one nozzle, and I've now replaced it twice. All of the other streams are fine. They're not really dripping. They're pretty much shooting down very fine streams. But this one on the far left is like giving me issues. So what I'm doing now is removing all the other 3 nozzles and checking them inside and out to see if I can maybe spot a difference between the 3 that are working and the one that's not. Basically just doing some troubleshooting to see if I understand. The other 3 nozzles pretty much look the same inside and out. Remove this one. I mean, the only thing I can kind of notice is that the black rubber piece on the 4th nozzle is a little long. Like it's it seems like it's malformed, maybe right around the inner lip. But even if it is malformed, it's very small. Like this is something like very minute. My last thought, or the last variable that I thought to check, is maybe the valve itself, if that's how you say that. That's the only thing I could think of that may be causing the issue is this. Maybe these 3 spouts, I guess we could call them, are good, whereas this one's not, and that's what's causing the issue. Again, I'm not 100% sure. This is really the last step before we put in the pre-treatment and actually start pre-treating shirts. So as much as I want to move forward and finish the video, I don't want to do it while one of the valves isn't working. Here on the instructions, they say in case one of the nozzles doesn't work properly, remove it and put it into the ultrasonic cleaner for 1 minute and clean it with compressed air. This is kind of like my last ditch effort. I'm gonna try that, and hopefully that makes this 4th nozzle work, and we can move on to the last step in the process. If not, I'll just contact Schulze or brother, you know, whoever's in charge of the warranty for this machine, and see if I can get some help with this last nozzle. So I actually just did one last test, and I think it confirms that it may not be the nozzle, but the actual spout itself, the black piece underneath the yellow. Because what I did was switch nozzle number 3 and nozzle number 4. I swapped them out, and now even when I press water now, the nozzle in position 4 still gets really runny and drippy. And that makes me believe that it's the piece that's a part of the machine and not just the nozzle, the removable piece. What I've also done is go in here to, I think it's under maintenance, and then adjusted the pressure to -15 just to see if that makes a difference. And then what I'll do is press the water. And that one nozzle is still really bad, so what I'll do is go in here to maintenance, adjust the pump pressure again, and instead of standard, we'll put it to plus. Oh wow, it goes to plus 25. Let's see if that helps anything. No, it seems to be, after it's been running for a while, it seems that that 4th nozzle, no matter what you do, just gets really runny. And that's not going to be any good for the t-shirts as we're trying to pre-treat. So another thing that I realized and came across as I'm testing the different nozzles to see if maybe there's some way I can get this to work properly, is that the problem is still prominent here on the left hand nozzle, but as I'm pressing it and this one starts to drip more liquid. If I reach in and tighten it up, it seems to fix the problem. I mean, kind of temporarily, but it does seem to fix the problem. If I tighten, then you see it looks good for a while. But the problem moves from this left nozzle to the one closest to it as soon as I tighten it up. So I'll tighten it, this one starts to drip a bit, and if I tighten this one again, the problem goes back to the left hand side. I don't know if that's like a function of how this machine is supposed to work. The last thing I could probably do is put in a shirt and watch the PretreatMaker 4 in action to see if it keeps a nice consistent clean stream as it goes over the garment. But for now, I think I'm not going to put pre-treatment inside the machine until I can figure out what the issue is, figure out what the problem is, and maybe talk with the company. So hopefully I can get some help on this. The website that I purchased this from is dtgmart.com, and I believe it's run by a company named All American Print Supply, but I'm hoping I can get like some help on these nozzles. So what I'm actually going to do is test out one of these shirts with the distilled water and see what kind of pattern I get if I use the PretreatMaker 4 as it's intended. Give you guys a close-up. This is how it looks before. I'm going to use these settings. I set the pressure, and I don't think I ever changed the speed, but I set the pressure back to 100%, and we'll see how this goes with the nozzles using water. So it looks like, yeah, it looks like just like in practice, it's a little bit hard to see, but over here on the left side where we were dripping, if this had been pre-treatment, that would be a really thick coat of pre-treatment here on the left side. You can see it's like dripping off the table. That's how much pre-treatment there is. Whereas on the right side, in the middle, where there's a nice clean spray, it's pretty even. Still got some issues here, here. It's like leaving triangles, which I'm sure that could be corrected with some settings, but I don't know if this this left side can be fixed. Not sure if that can be fixed. It's just like a lot of water. It's literally dripping water onto the garment as opposed to a nice fine spray. So yeah, that's pretty much the conclusion of this video. I'm going to reach out to DTG Mart or All American Print Supply and see if I can get the problem fixed with my left hand nozzle. But this is one of the main reasons why I was asking for videos or some kind of visual instruction so I know what the process looks like and what I'm supposed to have at the end, what my machine should be doing at the end. So with that being said, again, I'm just going to reach out to All American Print Supply and hope they can help me out. I will probably do a part 2 to this video with either some instructions on how I fix this or hopefully just a new PretreatMaker 4, because I would like to get one that works right out of the box. So either way it goes, thank you for watching. I hope this was somewhat educational. I hope it helped you if you're setting up your own PretreatMaker 4, or that this was informational enough to help you make a decision as to which pre-treatment machine you're going to buy. Either way, I thank you for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment below. Let me know what you think. It really helps out this channel, and I'll see you guys in the next video.